what the past decade says about the Rangers prospects defending their world title, and also, could you hear that plane flying over our head, is, all right, so I went through the last 10 years, but only the last 9 seasons, because I didn't include 2020 because, What do you think is the average record for the defending world champion the season after?
90 and 72 will be my guess.
89 and
we're close. 73.
90 and 72 is going to be my guess as well.
That is correct.
Oh, it just sounds like a good round number. Instead of thinking like 94 wins, you're just like, 90 wins.
No, that is dead on. Okay. Well done, fellas. 90 and 72. So the previous 9 seasons, the defending champions' average finish was second in the division, which, you feel pretty good about your prospects of making the playoffs if that's the case.
Well, last year we finished second in the division.
And we won the damn World Series. That's a good point.
With 90 wins and 72 losses.
Do you try to do that next year? You're at 90 wins with 4 to go. You're like, just lose them all.
Yeah, we got to get back to 90 and 72.
We got to get into this road wild card situation again.
And then they lose their first road game, and you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. All right, of the previous 9 seasons, 4 went on to win their division the next season. 5 of the 9 made the playoffs, and 4 of the 9 made it back to the league championship series. So, although I realize there has not been a repeat champion in that run, you do see 4 out of 9. So I told you, you got about 45% chance of getting back to a league championship series this year. I feel like we'd all be like, that sounds pretty damn good.
This is going to be tough because this first 3 months of the season, you're really, to me, Corey, going to have to outslug teams. I'm not saying your pitching's going to be bad, but when you look at it on paper, you go, all right, as long as Seager's healthy very quickly into the year, same with Josh Young, and you have a healthy offense, you might need to be a team that's maybe averaging top 5 runs scored in Major League Baseball to really put up a positive record.
Are you feeling like your mindset is 6-4 type wins or even higher? Like you're going to try and – I feel like
I would hope if you score 6 runs – you're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, but as you're kind of talking about pitching here, I'm wondering is 4 good for what we're looking at early in the year here?
If our pitching staff as a whole is giving up 4 runs a game early in the season, I think I would.
Okay,
I think if your team ERA is 4, let's say through April and May, I think you're going to have an over 500 record. I can't tell you if you're going to be 40-20 or not, but I would say if your ERA is 4, because the other thing too is. This was corrected last year, and I'm hoping it continues. You're not going to give up unearned runs. I mean, there'll be every once in a while you will, but it felt like in years past, okay, our ERA's 4, but how many runs are we giving up? Because there seems to be a run or 2 on the board that was an unearned run.
I put a lot of stock in when Bochy says things. He's gained my trust. He's gained all that trust for it. But when he said yesterday, and he said it last year too, multiple times, I'm trying to win today's game, and I'll worry about tomorrow's game tomorrow. That's where that part of it goes, you know what? I used everything I could to win yesterday's game, and I got what I got today. It might not be best interest for me to push everything, so we're going to do the best we can, and then we'll get to, but he's always trying to win today's game. And this is a group of guys that can hit like that, Mike. They can hit and produce runs and manufacture runs. They don't have to bunt to get guys over, but they can put the ball in play and make things happen.
Well, I was talking to one of the Rangers coaches. I don't want to, because it was I could probably say it and he'd be cool, but I'm just going to say I was talking to one of the Rangers coaches.
Bochy.
And it was kind of this. Look, it's the start of a new year. Are they thinking about the playoffs on February 27th? No, not at all. Or the 28th. Today I know it's the 29th. But they were saying, we were having this conversation, if they can make the playoffs, and if they make the playoffs with a healthy Eovaldi, a healthy Scherzer, and a healthy DeGrom, then teams will go, even if they just made it, right? They snuck into the last wild card spot, whether they won the division or not. If they can make it into the playoffs and they figured out a way in those last 2 months to have those 3 guys healthy and pitching well going into the playoffs, teams are going to look at it and go, son of a gun.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to look at an April series or a July series and go, we had our
Not
chance
relevant anymore, yeah.
to take that series from them, and they just snuck in, and now we know they have a devastating offense. We saw it win a World Series last year, and these sons of guns figured out a way how to make the playoffs, and now these veteran guys who know how to pitch in the playoffs are there. And then, let's face it, Chris Young, I think, is going to go all in again if they have a chance. If you get to the All-Star break again this upcoming season, and they are lacking a starting pitcher, I do think Chris Young will do everything possible to use his farm system to go get another Jordan Montgomery, to go get maybe I don't know who the Max Scherzer would be on the market, but whoever it is, I do think Chris Young is going to try to beat the marketplace and add that guy to this team.
Is there? I know pitching is always kind of you're like trying to find that all the time, and this team lacks it at the moment. Do you see any other, like, hey, I want to add a power hitting X to this team, or are you like, no, I'm good with this roster?
I think we're good because we talked about this way early in offseason, Kevin, is the only spot where you would feel like you could do that is maybe first base.
Yeah.
You have 3 all-stars in the infield. You have a super stud in Evan Carter. You have an all-star in right field in Adolis. You have a very good defensive center fielder, but then you have Wyatt Langford, who's supposed to be kind of, I'm not saying this year, but projected to be kind of a guy who can hit 40 home runs, drive in 100-plus runs on a consistent basis. So outfield, you're kind of like, I don't really want to add to the outfield when I know I have this guy ready to help me very soon. So if you were to do it, I've brought this up. If you wanted to do it, and I don't know how much it would cost you, you could add Pete Alonso. Because the Mets, if they're not in it, you could add a 50 home run guy from the right side. He probably will be available in trade, but is that the piece that you feel like really helps you in the playoffs, or would it be a starting pitcher who helps you?
I'm just going to assume
Both.
starting pitcher, but we'll have to see how the season plays out for that to take place. And Corey, I know it caught your eye the same as mine. Is first of all the Ortiz down the down the first base line looks really nice, and now they're setting it up on the third base line as well. So again, I know in the grand scheme of things, you'd rather have your loved one back, but I do appreciate it. It's a nice little gesture by the Texas Rangers. And then also, I wanted to throw this out there when we were talking about defending your title. Since the playoff field expanded to 6 teams per league, is both defending champions have made the playoffs. So that is hopefully another potentially good sign.
Yeah. And the Astros are always usually in the ALCS or the World Series. Hopefully it's not, they don't do that again this year, but they're like when you said 4 out of 9, I'm like, well, the Astros are always making the playoffs every year. And then I guess the Braves,
last year they always lose in the ALCS.
That's a good point. That is a very good point.
Knuckleballs. And you know what else? I haven't done this in a while. Snap! You snapped on those Astros.
Oh, man, I'm glad you said it that
I
way.
really thought he was going to say something else as well.
That's what I said about the blower guy earlier.
We're the